Let's go down to Jerome's as 53-man roster cutdowns continue before the deadline at 3 p.m. Central Time on Tuesday. Teams are letting go of some very intriguing players, and Minnesota Vikings general manager adofo-mensah should keep his eyes peeled, potentially looking to add talent. And I understand why would you want to add a player that even couldn't even make another team, bro? Like one person's trash is another man's treasure. Sometimes, but not all cuts are created equal. Sometimes there's a scheme change. Sometimes it's contractual. Sometimes, players come back from injury. Sometimes it's whatever, X, Y, Z. Or a team has a positional surplus, and the Vikings certainly could pick up a couple players at positional deficits. So Kwesi should be very active this time of year. He was last year. Made a number of trades. Made a number of signings, and I'll actually say right now, there will be at least 3, maybe even more players either on the 53 or the practice squad combined that aren't currently on the 90-man roster. I think that there will be some churning and burning, especially on the practice squad. And that's exactly what Kwesi's paid to do. Like, if you can improve place 53 on the roster, you do it. If you can improve place 15 or 16 on the practice squad, you absolutely do it. And we already did up a list of a dozen players that have been cut that the Vikings should and could be interested in, including James Robinson, including Kobe Gassett, Zach McLeod if he's cut one time, Breland Speaks, John Pennicini, great name, Yadni Kajust, Alex Leatherwood, the former first-round pick, taken ahead of Darisaw. It confounds me with Leatherwood is that he was a very solid left tackle at Alabama, but in the NFL, he's been asked to play right guard and right tackle. That's it. It's just... it blows my mind. Anyways, but here are 6 more players that have been cut that the Vikings should and could be interested in. Number 1, Desmond King III. That's right. So it's so funny where there's been players that have been tied to the Vikings for so long, and players have, fans have wanted Desmond King for so many years, whether he was on the Chargers, whether he was on the Texans, whether he was a free agent, but it just never happened under Spielman. But Desmond King, the pride of Iowa, he's 28, he's 5'10", he's 200, and he essentially plays the Metellus role. He plays the big slot, and he does it very well. In 2018, he was a first-team All-Pro randomly, but, I mean, the fact that he's just still out there chilling. And yes, you can never have enough good defensive backs. Even though the Vikings do have a surplus in the DB room, I would reach out. I would certainly reach out. And also, here's the thing. Since Desmond King is a vested veteran, he's automatically a free agent. And the thing is, too, like if players go unclaimed on waivers or if they're just a straight-up free agent, just because a team released them doesn't mean that they have to sign with that team's practice squad. Another team could offer them better money or better opportunity, and they can just take their talents wherever they want to. So Desmond King, that one certainly would be interesting. Next up, player number 2, guard Jack Anderson of the Giants. Now, if you watch this channel, I was a big fan of Jack Anderson in the 2021 NFL draft. Coming out of Texas Tech, he was a multi-time all Big 12 team captain. I just loved his attitude. He's got some toughness and grittiness to his game, and I actually had him as like a 4th or 5th round pick. He ended up going in the 7th round to Buffalo, but he's only 24, 6'4", 314, recently released by the Giants. I love his anchor. I love that he can play guard and center, both guard spots actually. So a young, versatile, stout interior offensive lineman. What's not to love? Absolutely nothing, man. Next up, player number 3 that the Vikings should be interested in, nose tackle Bravion Roy. So usually what happens is that I just go back to my draft crushes, and I really like Bravion Roy coming out of Baylor, mountain-sized nose tackle, 335 plus pounds, 6th-round pick in 2020 by the Panthers. Now, he had some good run for the Panthers, but he was let go in Chicago. Now, the thing is, like, he is a true zero-tech 3-4 nose tackle, and of course the Bears transitioning from the 3-4 to the 4-3 under Eberflus IKEA Toilet, so it's no wonder that Roy didn't quite fit in, but I mean, could the Vikings swindle 2 great nose tackles from the Bears and that were cut because of scheme change? Kyrus Tonga, one, who's probably going to be the Vikings starting nose tackle, and Bravion Roy, come on down, man. Next up, player number 4 that the Vikings should be in on, guard Michael Dunn from the Browns. Now, this is less straight up potential, like a Jack Anderson pickup or like the other offensive line we're going to talk about. But Michael Dunn is a solid veteran backup, 28 years young, 2017 UDFA out of Maryland. Last 3 seasons in Cleveland, has had a couple spot starts at left guard when Bitonio got hurt. But Michael Dunn, also comes from that Stefanski-Callahan type scheme, so he'll be able to hit the ground running with the Vikings. So that would be an interesting potential veteran pickup there. Next up, player number 5 that the Vikings should be in on, guard Micah Vanterpool of the Patriots. So Vanterpool was seen as like a 7th-round pick or priority free agent, ended up going undrafted this season. But 6'6", 315, good anchor, good movement skills for a guy his size, coming out of Hawaii. Never really got the time of day with the Patriots. Sort of a numbers game with the Patriots offensive line, but the potential could be there, where if you burn a practice squad spot on him and then see him up close and personal, and then Chris Cooper could see maybe you got something going, maybe you don't. But I think that certainly would be worth a dart throw. Finally, player number 6 that was recently cut that the Vikings should be in on. So cornerback Michael Ojemudia coming in out of Iowa. So he was originally a 3rd-round pick in 2020 by the Broncos. Ended up with the Bears. Of course, the Bears misuse players all the time. But he's 6'1", 200, can play inside, outside, and actually played really well in preseason for the Bears. An 82.7 PFF coverage grade, as well as 4 passes broken up, and as well as a 43.3 quarterback rating when thrown at. And also the whole thing about Roy and Ujamadea, where you get that intel from the Bears, what's going on in the locker room, what's going on with the defense. So there's obviously some upside there too. But I mean, overall, like, there's some good players that are being shown the door, players that do have a future in this league. It ain't over, whether it's practice squad or potentially a 53. I think these 6 are certainly interesting and intriguing. But your thoughts are thoughts. 6 more Vikings Try again. 6 more recent 53-man cuts that the Vikings should be in on. Let us know your thoughts on our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo, as well as check out the store, purplefdw.net. As I burp. That's you, Rona. But until next time, Skol, production value.